interesting architecture. They've kept many old buildings. And there are the elks. I'm an elk. You're probably going to figure out that I really like this place. I had such a great history lesson, delicious spirits, and memories that I'm going to take with me and remember forever. This was a great place. It opens at 10. People in Montana are early drinkers. I guess I'll join them. This is more than just a distillery. What else do you do?
Correct.
Everything.
So we have two companies, we're Headframe Spirits, but we have two companies underneath Headframe Spirits. So we have Headframe Spirits Manufacturing, which builds our stills that are out in the world, and then we have our production department and our tasting room team. So we build the stills that make our booze, and then we sell our booze in bottles and cocktails.
So you sell the alcohol only in Montana, or do you sell it all over?
So Montana is our main location. The state of Montana is our customer for Montana, and then the state-owned liquor stores get us. So we are all over Montana in the liquor stores, but we also distribute to Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, and Illinois as a pretty regular states. There are certain states like Oregon that is special order for orphan girl only, so only one product in very small amounts. And so each state is not getting our full lineup. But we ship to Illinois. They are kind of the people who take care of us for our online sales throughout the world. Because in Montana, it's illegal to sell alcohol or to ship alcohol. So we are not allowed to ship alcohol to people if they order it, but it comes from a distributor in Illinois. So in Montana, the state of Montana, the Department of Revenue, and the legislature control everything that we pour, our hours, and what we can sell out of the tasting room. So we are allowed to sell 2 ounces of alcohol per person per day, 2 bottles per person per day. We can only pour between the hours of 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. So breweries, wineries, cideries, and distilleries all fall under the Department of Revenue, and the legislature is who guides those laws. And so that's how we work in Montana. So every tasting room is different from a bar because they have liquor licenses, and we don't have liquor licenses.
So what types of spirits do you carry?
So right now we have a vodka, so Higher vodka and Summo Gin, Destroying Angel unaged rye whiskey, and Speculator is our aged rye whiskey. Never Sweat is our bourbon. We have a straight bourbon. We have our Acquisition, which is a Canadian whiskey that was aged in red wine, white wine, Never Sweat barrels, and then we have our Kelly, the Kelly whiskey, which is an American single malt, award-winning single malt. And our newest product comes out today at 5 o'clock, so you should stick around. Meaderville Limoncello, which is a gin-based limoncello. So that's coming out today at 5. So we opened on Leap Day in 2012, so we're 9.5 years.
And it's the name of it is, which I had no idea, has something to do with mining.
Mm-hmm. So Headframe Spirits is named after, or all of our products are named after headframes, which were the elevators that lowered the miners underground. So all of those tall black, or other people call them gallows frame. They kind of look like oil rigs or something like that. So if you've never been to Butte before, if you've seen the oil rigs, it kind of looks like that. But they're actually the elevator that lowered miners down underground. And so all of our products until today are named after different mines. The Meaderville Limoncello is actually named after one of the old Butte communities. It was the Italian community. And so we're starting kind of a new trend starting today. We're doing something new and cool and naming our product after something besides a mine. So anyway, this was Matucci's jacket and boots. He met John and Courtney before we even opened the distillery. They were just prepping and getting ready. And he said, hey, I make limoncello. Anyway, he gave them their still to just hang out here, his still to sit here on display. And sit with the release of the Meaderville limoncello, we have some artifacts, some newspaper clippings, is what this kind of stuff is. well, not living, but he was building stills in the Midwest, distilleries that just didn't have the fun outcome that we have. What to do when what the next chapter was for him. And he said to his wife, well, how about I just stay at home, be a kept man? At that time they had a little baby, and Courtney's like, no. He said, you need to do what you know, and you need to do what you love. She says, you know how to distill, and you like your hooch, you should open a distillery. And like from that point, he got up and started writing his business plan, and it was like a 2-year process of finding the building and doing all the paperwork, and lots of cool stories.
And yeah, that's what you don't get from something that's new, that people just like kind of created in the past 5 years or something.
The bar from is called Teddy's Rocky Mountain Bar. It was in Meterville, which was the Italian community. And this is Teddy Treparish in front of the Rocky Mountain Cafe. He used to buy a Cadillac every year. So that's him standing in front of a Cadillac, which very possibly could have been purchased from our showroom floor, which is now our distillery. And then the town of Meterville. So Meterville was... when Anaconda Company needed to expand mining and make the pit bigger, basically the community of Meterville was bulldozed, and everything was just gone. People had to relocate. Teddy Treparish didn't want his bar to be destroyed, and so he donated it to the mining museum. And so it is still a museum artifact.
Wow. It's beautiful. Look at that wood.
It is beautiful. We did have it refurbished a few years ago. There was a couple broken dentals and just had it refinished so that the stain all matched. There's a little bit of water depth.
In early 1917, Butte was an industrial city with a population of 91,000 people and home to one of the largest mining operations in the world. In April, 4 months after the U.S. began fighting in World War I, there was an increased demand for copper, and the Butte mines met the increased demand by operating round the clock, working the 14,500 miners like mules. And the safety conditions steadily deteriorated. Early in the day of June 8, 1917, a crew had begun to process lowering a 3-ton electrical cable down the shaft to complete working on a sprinkler system that was supposed to help protect against fires. That evening, 410 men were lowered into the Granite Mountain mine shaft to begin another night shift. At 8 o'clock p.m., the cable slipped from its clamps and fell into a tangled coil on the floor at the 2,400-foot level. As it fell, the lead covering was torn away, exposing a large portion of oiled paraffin paper, which was used to insulate the cable. At 11:30 that night, 4 men went down to examine the cable. One of the men accidentally touched his handheld carbide lamp to the cable insulation, which immediately ignited the oily paper. The flame then spread to the mine timbers, quickly filling the Granite Mountain and spectacular shafts with thick, toxic smoke. In the confusion, just over half of the men working the depths of Granite Mountain shaft were able to escape to the surface. 168 men died in the mine. A few years ago in Butte, they held a candlelight ceremony in a mine shaft to commemorate that accident and the deaths of those innocent men. Thanks for joining me in Butte, Montana. There will be more Montana to come. So stay tuned and please watch my next video and subscribe.